What's the path for Senator Sanders? The media's buried him pretty much from day one. Even yesterday, he upsets in Michigan. Donald Trump is 45 minutes out of the hour TV news program.
What people need to understand is that there's actually two national Democratic primaries. There's one primary that runs from February 1st to March 15th. All 16 southern states vote in that primary. That's been very advantageous for Secretary Clinton. There is a second national primary. It begins on March 16th. It runs from March 16th to June 7th when California votes and awards 545 delegates. It's safe to say, given the results so far, that Senator Sanders has the potential to sweep the table starting on March 16th. Not a single Pacific state has voted. He may win all 5 of them. Only one mountain state has voted, Colorado. He won that state. Very few Midwestern states have voted. He just won Michigan in a shocking upset. What we might see is that after March 16th, there will be one campaign gasping for air, but it won't be the Sanders campaign.
Senator Sanders mentioned the word ghettos, and I was getting campaign emails. Trayvon Martin's mother was coming out criticizing him for that. Obviously, we're sorry for her loss, but do you think that the secretary's politicizing a little bit?
One of the sad things in politics these days is that the grievances are often feigned. That's certainly not the case with regard to Trayvon's mother. She's an announced supporter for Hillary. I respect her. I actually went to her son's memorial service with her, and she sat right in front of me. But nevertheless, what's important is where the country needs to be taken. Are we going to have a $15 minimum wage? Are we going to have Medicare for all? Are we going to increase Social Security and Medicare? Are we going to have free college, free public college for everybody? These are the real issues, not the use of particular words at particular times in ways that may or may not be unfortunate, but nevertheless don't reflect the enormous decision before the country.
Senator Sanders has been criticized for being a one-issue candidate, not being strong on foreign policy. The neocons and even moderate Democrats, when he says let Muslim countries handle it, that's kind of not been the way we do things for the last 30, 40 years. How does he counter that narrative that he's not only about Wall Street but many other issues?
Look, he recognizes that we wasted $4 trillion on the war in Iraq. He voted against it. He recognizes that over and over and over again, the military-industrial complex has determined our foreign policy in the same way that Wall Street determines our economic policy and that big oil determines our energy policy and our environmental policy. And he says flat out, I'm going to change that. And that's a welcome change. When you realize that we spent 8% of our entire national net worth on a war chasing weapons of mass destruction that never existed in the first place, you realize how screwed up our foreign policy really is. And that's the change that we need. That doesn't make you weak on foreign policy. That makes you strong, and it makes America stronger, too. I'm a superdelegate. There are 712 of us. I'm uncomfortable with the idea that they're not chosen democratically. So what I did was I said I'm going to leave my vote up to a vote. I invited people to come to our website, which is still up. People can still go there, called GraysonPrimary.com. We had almost 400,000 people come. They not only voted, but they gave their reasons why. And we told both campaigns ahead of time. Senator Sanders won that vote 84% to 16%. And the reasons were fascinating. Nobody was negative. Hardly anybody who was in the Sanders camp said anything negative about Hillary. Same thing with the Hillary camp. They said virtually nothing negative about Sanders. What they did say in the Sanders camp is this, that there is a deep grinding inequality in this country. Political inequality, economic inequality, social inequality, and Bernie Sanders is the one to change that.
With Donald Trump, do you think he actually truly believes the stuff he's saying?
Well, I think about a quarter of what he's saying is how great he is, and he certainly believes that. The other 75%, no.
You don't think he's going to do what he says he's going to do?
I think he'll be one of the most incompetent presidents we've ever had in the history of the United States. I mean, like deeply, deeply incompetent, like Andrew Johnson type incompetent. He has no idea of how the political system works. He lives in a fact-free zone.
Well, he says he does. He says he's played the political system for years.
He's played the campaign contribution system for years, but that's a far cry from actually governing. I think he'll get a big kick out of being commander-in-chief. I know he's going to enjoy the rides on Air Force One. He'll love that bomber jacket they give you with the presidential seal on it. But it's going to be all about Donald, nonstop, and the rest of the country can go to hell.
And do you fear that if he was elected president, the polarization we've seen the last few years would only heighten? You see what's going on at his rallies?
I think the inequality would heighten. I think that would pretty much cinch it. If you have a billionaire as the leader of the country, then it really is an oligarchy. It's a plutocracy. Game over.